Hi, I'm John Waterhouse. This is Weekday Wisdom. My question for you today is, what would you say to God? Now, as metaphysicians, we know that God is not a person, and that all the old stories about God being some kind of a person are lovely stories, but they're made up. And that as metaphysicians, we recognize that God is the creative force of the universe. It contains all intelligence and all power, but not a person, something greater than that. But chances are that, like me, there would have been times in your life where you imagined that God was like a person and that you could talk to him. So we've all probably been through some of that, most of it probably when we were children, some of us through most of our lives, perhaps. But children, of course, have a unique way of relating to life. And as most of them are taught that God is someone that you can talk to, they try that. And I have a list of things that apparently children have said to God, questions and thoughts that they've shared with the idea of God listening and being able to respond to them. And they earnestly have created some thoughts that I want to share with you today. So I'm just going to read these, and perhaps you will find something that you find humorous, something that maybe is compelling, something that helps you think. So whatever it is, let it just wash over you and see what happens. So here we go. Dear God, please put another holiday between Christmas and Easter. There's nothing good in there now. Amanda. Dear God, thank you for the baby brother, but what I asked for was a puppy. I never asked for anything before. You can look it up. Joyce. Dear Mr. God, I wish you would not make it so easy for people to come apart. I had to get 3 stitches and a shot. Janet. Dear God, if we come back as somebody else, please don't let me come back as Jennifer Horton because she's a mean person. Denise. Dear God, I read the Bible. What does begat mean? Nobody will tell me. Love, Allison. Dear God, how did you know you were God? Who told you? Charlene. Dear God, is it true my father won't get to heaven if he uses his golf words in the house? Anita. Dear God, I bet it's very hard for you to love everybody in the world. There are only 4 people in my family, and I haven't figured out how to do it yet. Nancy. Dear God, did you really mean do unto others as they do unto you? If you did, then I'm going to have to get even with my brother. Darla. Dear God, all of your stories, of all of your stories, I like the one about Hanukkah the best. It's great. I like walking on water too. Thanks, Glenn. Dear God, my grandpa says you were around when he was a little boy. How far back do you go? Love, Dennis. Dear God, do you draw the lines around the countries? If you don't, who does? Nan. Dear God, it's okay that you made different religions, but don't you get mixed up sometimes? Arnold. Dear God, did you mean for giraffes to look like that, or was that an accident? Norma. Dear God, in Bible times, did they really talk that fancy? Jennifer. Dear God, what does it mean you are a jealous God? I thought you had everything you wanted. Jane. Dear God, how come you did all those miracles in the old days and don't do them anymore? Seymour. Dear God, please send Dennis Clark to a different summer camp this year. Peter. Dear God, maybe Cain and Abel would not kill each other so much if they just had their own rooms. It really helped me and my brother. Larry. Dear God, I keep waiting for spring, but it hasn't come. What's up? Please don't forget. Mark. Dear God, you don't have to worry about me. I always look both ways before I cross the street. Dean. Dear God, my brother told me about how we are born, but it just doesn't sound right. What do you say? Marcia. Dear God, If you watch in our church on Sunday, I'll show you my new shoes. Leslie. Dear God, is Reverend Coe a friend of yours, or do you just know him through the business? Donnie. Dear God, in Sunday school, they told us what you do for a job. Who covers you when you're on vacation? Jane. Dear God, in school we read that Thomas Edison made light, but in Sunday school they say you did it first. Did he steal your idea? Sincerely, Donna. Dear God, I do not think anybody could do a better job of being God than you. And I'm not just saying that because you're already God. Charles. Dear God, it is great the way you always get the stars in the right place. Why can't you do the same thing with the moon? Jeff. Dear God, I am doing the very best that I can. Really. Frank. And dear God, I didn't think orange went with purple until I saw the sunset you made last Tuesday night. That was really cool. Carol. So maybe there's something in there that touched you. Maybe there's something in there that helps you realize the idea of trying to have a relationship with the allness, the infinite allness, is somehow limited in its scope. But nonetheless, the presence of the divine dwells at the point of each of us. And if you want to talk to God, just go inside. God's always right there. And God knows it all. So do you. And with that, have a fantastic day.